Friends, today we have a great guest. His name is Ken Honda, and you might have heard about him because Ken has become somewhat notorious and famous in his life. He speaks on a concept that all of us want to know, and that's about money. But he talks about money in different terms. He talks about happy money, and he talks about unhappy money. He talks about the flow of money. And who in this world does not want to know how to have happy money and how to flow the money their way? Welcome, Ken.
Thank you, Alan. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm all yours. Just follow your lead.
Excellent. Well, Ken is phoning us all the way from Japan.
Hmm?
So he is an international star. He makes himself available to me at the weirdest times, like the first thing in the morning and the last thing at night, because he knows how difficult it is to work on this 24-hour globe schedule. So, Ken, how did you come up with this concept of happy money and unhappy money?
So I just realized that people seem to enjoy money, and the other ones do not enjoy money. I think about only like 5% of people who have a good relationship with money, but most of us feel frustrated, get resentful about money, either when we receive and also either when we pay. So I just wanted to know the secret of happy people. It doesn't really matter how much they have, how much they make. They they're genuinely happy with life, and also they're genuinely happy with money. And I asked people, why do you feel so happy about your life and about your money? And I just found out that they have what they have in common. They seem to be appreciative of their life and also money. And I realized that once your attitude changes toward appreciation from resentment, everything changes. So the key is to appreciate your money, both coming in and going out. And it's as simple as that. And then you can transform your money into happy money.
Where does this resentment of money come from? Does it come from our childhood?
Yes, and also from the fact that um, in order to survive, we need food and shelter and clothing, and all of which cost money. And also the fact that we didn't agree to play this money game, but we were forced to play since we were 4 or 5. We didn't sign the agreement. I'm here hereby. I pledge that I'm going to play this money game fairly and honestly. You know, if it's a baseball game or if it's a other soccer game, we just agree to play the game with others. But do we remember when we signed the contract, we're going to play the game with other human people? And we didn't, you know. So we're forced into this game. That's why we feel resentful because we didn't agree. And the money game is so stressful, and many of us feel we're not winning. And also, there's no end to the game. So when we die, we'll be free from the game. But until then, somebody keeps scoring us, and then we score very lousy, and so we feel bad about it.
Exactly. Well, we're going to take a break from our commercial messages now, Ken. But friends, come back because we have more to talk about happy money and how you can get this in your lives. Friends, we're talking with Ken Honda, a world's authority on happy money, the Japanese art of making peace with our money. Ken, how
Yes.
can we invite more happy money into our lives?
So the concept that you need more, you have to take a look at it. In the West, in Europe, and America and Australia, people ask me about this, that how can I have more? How can I get more? But in the East, people tend to ask me questions like, how can I be satisfied with what I have? It's a totally different attitude because when you ask more, you don't know when and how much is more because people say, okay, I'm going to invite $20,000 more. And then when you get 20,000, all the people around you seem to be making more money. So you want to make another 50,000, another $100,000. One time I had a conversation with a person who's very wealthy, but I asked him, when was the time that you started feeling wealthy? I was expecting when he was in his 20s or when his company went public and when his employee grew to 100. And he said, I don't feel wealthy at all because all my friends are 10 times wealthier. And they said, I thought you're wealthy. And he said, no, 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 I don't have a private jet. So if you say, how can I invite more, you may be digging yourself a grave.
Problem with this wanting more is wants become needs. And that is an endless cycle of unhappiness.
Yes, exactly. So maybe instead of asking yourself, how can I have more? Maybe you can find other answers in a different direction. How can I satisfy myself with what I have? So because when you start counting what you have, you're probably having an access to internet, electricity, and probably food and also shelter and enough clothing. So you are more than fortunate than 80% of the people who are on this planet. So, and also, of course, you can have more, but that's when you feel like you have everything you need. And then you may be able to invite more.
Well, you know, when you think of the basic needs people have, uh, freedom from hunger, freedom from thirst, uh, shelter, a warm house, a house that protects themselves from the elements, freedom from animals that can attack us. Well, those are pretty significant things that we have. And those are pretty simple things that people can get and be happy with.
Yes, yes. So once you just know that you're happy and you have enough, you may be asking more because the more you give, the more you receive, and you cannot stop that. So you have to find a well almost in your life, in your heart, that you're willing to give more, you're willing to share more. The more you share about your gift, about your knowledge, about your experiences, people will respond. So, like you, Alan, you have so much love and generosity. People feel touched, so they want to come back and listen to you more. So that's how this cycle begins. And the more you share, the more you receive. Sometimes you do it for free, but what's interesting is that you will be provided enough because you have given so much.
Yes. And I think that is the key. You know, if you give quite quite honestly, you get a lot. But unless you give first, you will never get.
That's so true. And we are so stingy. We feel like if you give me something, I'm going to give you this. But the world doesn't work that way. You have to be always the first to give and then see what happens. You may not be able to get something back, but you keep giving and then you bump into somebody who really appreciate you.
Yes. And it doesn't necessarily mean giving money. It's a gift of time or a gift of a little thing that you give to people that makes all the difference.
It's so true. You may be able to, there are uh, different ways of giving in Japanese or Buddhism. There's also Smiling, that's also a giving. Giving, what we call is giving generosity is also a giving. And also sending love also counts as giving. So you don't have to use money in all the things I said. So you can start now. It doesn't cost anything.
Okay, we're going to pause for another commercial message. But friends, come right back because we have more to talk about this wonderful topic. Friends, we're talking to Ken Honda, who is a world authority on happy money, the Japanese art of making peace with your money. Ken, you often talk about the myth of scarcity. What does
Yes,
that mean?
that's when we feel like we don't have enough. In English, it sounds to me because it's not my first language. Scarcity meaning scare city. That means like scary city, like a Batman or something, a very scary city. So in that city, people live in fear. People live that in a way that when they share something, it's gone, and if when they spend money, it's gone. It'll never come back. So that's why they hold on tight to what they have, what they earn, and then they're unwilling to share what they have. And also, people believe in cold world. People are not nice, so you have to protect yourself. Maybe you should arm yourself, or you should be at least feel guarded against strangers. And that's not a fun way of living because you have to always worry about something. Something bad is going to happen. But unfortunately, many of us are forced into this type of mentality that strangers can harm us, which is a bizarre feeling. But that's where people, how people live in scarcity.
Yes. You know, the word fear is an excellent word because it means a couple of things. It means you can forget everything and run, or you can face everything and rise. So you can use it as something to defeat yourself, or you can use it as a motivating factor that can be very positive in your life. You know, our brain is geared for this flight, fight, fright, and freeze reaction. That's how we protect ourselves from elements that are dangerous to us. But if you use that as a powerful force in your life to move forward, not backwards, that's how you can overcome a lot of things in your life.
Yes, yes, exactly. So when you feel fearful, you have to do something. Otherwise, you feel shrinking every day. So I advise you when you have money worries, next time when you shop, just donate $1 or a quarter. And then you remember you have more than enough. So this feeling that you have more than enough is super important because when you donate a quarter or even a dime in a little box, you feel like, okay, I'm not going bankrupt. So maybe I must have something, a little more than I thought I had. And then this feeling like, okay, I can relax. I'm not going to die today. Will give you a little relief and start being creative. So this fear gives you many creative solutions about your situation because obviously you are not satisfied with what you have right now. So in money problems, there are only two problems. You make too little or spend too much. And I think you're probably doing both. So this fear may give you a kickstart of making more money and also spending less money. If you start doing it in a couple months, you'll be surprised how much money you have left at the every end of every month.
Yeah, there's such an amazing thing as compound interest. So
Hmm.
if you put something in the bank and let it compound, It's amazing how it grows and grows and grows. In fact, the amazing thing about money is it doubles every 7.5%, every 7 years, if you have just a modest rate of return. So just think about that, how money can double over your lifetime. And if you just take a small amount and keep on doing that, you will be extremely wealthy if you do it on a regular basis.
Yes, but unfortunately, we're almost brainwashed to spend all we got because it's almost like a compulsive behavior that we may need to clean out our bank account by the end of every month. So unless you have this urge to spend everything and just push all the money away from your bank account and from your life every month, you cannot find your financial security in your heart and also in your bank account.
Precisely. Where we're going to take another commercial break and we're going to come back again, but come right back because Ken is going to tell us a simple solution. Friends, we're talking to Ken Honda, who is the world's authority on happy money, the Japanese art of making peace with your money. Ken, you say money is not the problem. We're the problem. What do you mean by that?
We often think money is a bad guy, but think about it. I had a guy said to me, you know, Ken, I need a partnership, but I'm not making much money. That's why I'm not dating anyone because it's going to cost money. So money, I hate money because money blocks me from meeting somebody. And I was, I was laughing at him and just, okay, let's take a look at the situation closely. You're saying that you don't have money, so you cannot find a date. Is that really true? And he started thinking, yeah, of course, there may be ways, but women would just look down on me if I don't have money. And I told him, do you want to date that kind of person? No. And then he started thinking like, okay, maybe it's something to do with me inside because I feel unworthy about myself because I don't have money. So maybe that is the key. And then people think, say that I want to start my own business, but I don't have money, capital to start. But wait a second, if somebody is willing to offer you money so you can start your business, I'm gonna take it. And she said, no, I'm too scared. Okay, so your fear of money is a problem. It's not the money. So I can keep going on, but we make so many excuses around money. If I were a attorney at the court, I would say, please, don't blame it money for everything, And then if you a judge, you can say not guilty to money and let money go. You always find somebody in custody. Could be your parents, could be your boss, but you are really the source of problems. So unless you change yourself, the problems can keep popping up in a very interesting way.
And you've talked about money a lot.
Mm-hmm.
How have you learned to live a fantastic life?
So as I said at the beginning, I always ask myself, how much is enough? How much is enough for me to support my family of three? Not a lot. And how much is enough to support a lot of people? It might require a lot of money, but I am where I am, so I may grow to be more wealthy. But at this time of my life, I'm perfectly peaceful with how much I have and how much I can share with other people. I may be able to support 10 family, 15 families, but not more than that. If Warren Buffett did that, he could probably support 10 tens of thousands of families with what he has. But instead of just wanting more, needing more, I try my peace. I try to find my peace and security with where I am. And also, I'm very excited to share about what I know. And sometimes people pay me. Sometimes people don't pay me, which is okay because I get handsomely as a whole through book royalties, through my seminars. So I have always found peace for the past 20 years. And because I really enjoy what I do. And then I get compensated enough or more than enough. So I feel always blessed because if I did help a lot of people, I'd meet very, very good people like you, Alan, that, if I didn't do this, I never had a chance to have a chat with you like this because we are almost on the other side of the planet. And thanks to the technology, and also we are in a helping world. That's why we can meet and share because we're brothers in that sense. And I'm so happy to find my lost brothers and sisters this way.
Precisely. So, how do you recommend others have a fantastic life? How can they find the fantastic life that you've been able to find?
You have to find who you are. We try to sit on the wrong seat. The other day, I was in a bullet train, and then I was seat 8J, but I was supposed to sit on 6J, and then somebody said, "Excuse me, I think it's your seat. I think it's my seat." And I look at the ticket. I'm like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm supposed to sit two seats in front of the seat I sat." But we often just take it wrong and try to sit on other people's seat. It's because our parents recommended it, or it's like it's supposed to. That's where you should supposed to sit, but maybe not. Your seat could be somewhere else, and also the big question is you may be in the wrong vehicle. You're supposed to be in an airplane instead of a car or bus. So you have to find the right spot for your life. The biggest tragedy is that we don't know where we're supposed to sit, and then we're not comfortable with the seat. So if you feel like this is the wrong seat, you have to get up and start finding the right vehicle, start finding the right airplane, and also says right destination. So you have to know so many things. You have to know where you want to go, who you are, and if you just start figuring those things, you feel more peace and also you feel more calm because you know you're in the right place and the right time, and the rest somebody will take care of the rest.
Yeah, that is precisely true. So, Ken, how can people find out more about you and what you have to offer? And how can they get a copy of your amazing book?
Thank you. I guess there are major airports and major bookstores. I'm so happy to find one in a bookstore in Australia, UK, and Denmark. So you can probably find it. And also you can order from Amazon. And all the information you can find at kenhonda.com. I created an fun international community called Arigato Living Community, where people can learn from each other. We have about 25 different country membership, and it's very exciting. I meet people at right time for North, Central, and South America. Sometimes I meet in European time, and that's where you can find me every month. So if you're interested, I'm translating lots of stuff into English now. So and also you don't have to learn from me. You can just practice appreciating your life, appreciating your money. That will really transform your relationship with money.
And thank you so much for being here. This has
Thank
been
you so much.
such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much, and you are so wonderful. And I really feel so much love and generosity and kindness from you. So this time is such a delight. And what a beautiful way to start my day.
It is. And I'm going to give all of our listeners a special guest today, a special gift today. You know, everybody wants to know where they are on the journey to a fantastic life. Well, I've put together a little questionnaire of 25 questions, and they can find out exactly where they are in that journey. And there will be tips and pointers to get them to the next level. That's at lifequalityassessment.com. Lifequalityassessment.com. Go there and you'll find where you are on your journey to a fantastic life. Bye for now and have a fantastic day.